Good morning, everyone. Today I am going to present about lead AVR, the forgotten super network. It's a very basic old school topic, but until my second year of residency, I was looking at lead AVR on a different way. Till when I come to know that lead AVR is our final year exam long answer questions. We have to write 6 to 7 pages on lead AVR only, and the same continues in DNB final year. We have the same long answer question on lead area. So this lecture will help us for theoretical theory exam purpose as well as clinical purpose. Coming to the evolution of ECG, it was as early as 1842 where Matteucci recorded first electrical activity from frog. In 1887, Augustus Waller was the first human who recorded the first electrical activity from human heart. Here is the image of first electrical activity of heart, where there is a person dipping his feet and both of his hands in electrolyte field solution, and the electrical activity of the heart is recorded as this. Further, William Anthon, who is the pioneer of modern ECG, he first named the 5 electrical potential waves in ECG, that is PQRST complex, and he developed the system of limb leads 1, 2, 3, which still used today in determining electrical axis of the heart. At his time only there were only 3 electrodes on which ECG interpretation was being done. Later on, Dr. Thomas Lewis developed the advanced electrocardiography into clinical arena and made special contribution in study of arrhythmia, especially atrial fibrillation and heart block. This is the ECG machine developed by him, and this is his own ECG. Before his death, he himself died of heart attack. This was his third heart attack, and we can see clearly here that there is ST depression with T-wave inversion lead 1, 3 with occasional topics in this ECG. It was early ECG as back as 1924. Later on, the Frank Norman Wilson in 1934 first described the unipolar chase leads V1 to V6. He developed the Wilson central terminal, which is reference electrode obtained through a resistive network combining the linked electrodes, and it was used as reference electrode for unipolar precordial leads at augmented leads. And coming to the latest ECG, which was developed by Goldberger, who introduced the main augmented unipolar leads AVR or AVF in 1942, which begins the era of standard 12 lead ECG, which were used by us till date now. Coming to Goldberger's augmented unipolar leads, these are low electrical potential and thus instrumentally augmented, hence prefixed as small a. The reference electrode is the mean potential sensed by 2 of 3 limbs electrodes, with exploring electrode being excluded from the reference electrode. Thus, lead AVR is augmented unipolar right arm leads, which may be considered looking into cavity of heart from the right shoulder. It follows all normally upright deflection on ECG. It follows that all whichever the upright deflection or ECG under normal circumstances will be negative in this lead, which make AVR as the value. Here we can show the direction of lead AVR, which is looking for the top right side of heart. This is the standard lead ECG, 12 lead ECG. But in earlier days, when we are looking at the ECG, we were looking the wall wise, that is 1 AVL for lateral wall, V5, V6 for lateral wall, 2, 3 AVL for inferior wall, and V1 to V for anteroceptor wall. No one is looking, in most of the doctors were ignoring lead AVR, or they were considering just positive or negative for axis of the heart. But lead AVR has more to do except the determine axis of the heart. Clinical utility of lead AVR. Lead AVR oriented to look from the right upper side of the heart and can provide specific information about right ventricular outflow tract and basal part of the septum. Because of its location and the fact it displays reciprocal information covered by lead AVL to V5 and V6. This is the direction of lead AVR from is looking towards the heart. The main basic use of lead AVR is for axis determination. Traditionally, the limb lead with tallest R wave has been used to determine electrical axis of heart. Another method to determine electrical axis of the heart involves the seeking of the lead with deepest negative deflection or S. As we can see that lead AVR noted is the most away from the normal axis. So the deepest S wave is present in lead AVR in normal axis, that is normal 30 degree of axis. Coming to the clinical uses of lead AVR, there are various clinical uses that are different than determine the axis. This includes acute coronary syndromes, interpreting the stress testing, acute pericarditis, acute pulmonary embolism, TC, tricyclic antidepressant poison, Brugada syndrome, arrhythmias, and dextrocardia and lead reversal. Coming to one by one. In acute coronary syndrome, I have been gathered some references from articles to show the importance of lead AVR. First is Engelen et al. Stated that ST segment elevation in lead AVR strongly predicted with LED occlusion proximal to the first septal perforated. So we have to be careful while intervention when we see the elevation in lead AVR. Second is Yamaji et al. He stated that AVR ST elevation greater than ST segment elevation in V1 predicts the acute left main coronary artery occlusion with sensitivity of 81% and specificity of 80%. Third is Gaikwad et al. In acute myocardial infarction, patient with ST elevation that is greater in lead AVR than lead V1 prompted early angiography and withholding the clopidogrel and early referral to coronary artery bypass grafting, resulting into improved clinical outcome. This study is useful for us because sometimes when patient is affordable and subjected to early CABG surgery, we can withhold antiplatelets. But at present time, we have advanced technologies, so it can be ignored. We can give antiplatelets. Kosugi et al. Stated that in non-ST elevation myocardial infarction, ST elevation of 0.5 mm or greater in AVR was useful predictor of left main coronary artery disease or triple vessel disease, which has sensitivity of 78% and specificity of 86%. It is the strongest predictor of adverse event in 90 days. Barves et al. In study of 775 patients with first non-ST elevation myocardial infarction showed that AVR ST segment elevation was associated with higher rates of in-hospital deaths and recurrent ischemia and heart failure. And more studies done by Kotuke et al. The relationship between ST segment elevation in lead AVR and length of LED. That is proximal LED occlusion associated with ST segment elevation. In proximal LED occlusion, there is associated ST segment elevation in lead AVR, while long LED or distal LED occlusion was associated with ST segment depression in lead AVR. Some other conditions. In a typical electrocardiographic finding, patient with preserved flow through left main coronary artery is when there is a widespread ST depression, maximal ST depression in V4 and V5 with inverted T waves, and although there is ST elevation in AVR, there is preserved LMCA perfusion. Second is ST elevation in lead AVR when accompanied by either anterior ST elevation or widespread ST depression may indicate LMCA occlusion. So that is with other kind of MI, anterior MI, inferior MI, when there is a ST elevation in lead AVR, it is a very grave prognosis. Third is Kenai et al. Reported a study of 106 patients stated that the ST segment depression lead AVR in inferior ST elevation in myocarditis, left circumflex infarction or large right coronary artery infarction involving the large posterolateral branch. So lead AVR can give invaluable clues regarding the level and extent of coronary artery occlusion and helps angiographer to plan his interventional approach and strong predictor of in-hospital death in 90 days. Coming to the clinical cases, this is initial and referral ECG of 44 years old man presenting with chest heaviness and shortness of breath. Here we can see that ST elevation in lead AVR and we can also see that hyperactive T waves in V1 and V2, so that when angiogram of this patient was done, which revealed total proximal occlusion of left anterior descending coronary artery without any other significant disease. So this AVR elevation is very much significant in this case. This is the second case of electrocardiogram, 71 years old woman presenting with chest pain. This ECG showed the widespread ST depression in lead 1 to AVR and V1 to V6 with slight ST elevation in lead AVR. When angiogram of this patient was done, which revealed a high grade stenosis of left distal main artery. This is the electrocardiogram of 54 years old man presented with chest pain with history of coronary artery bypass surgery. This ECG on the first side was looking like a right bundle branch pattern. But when we see ECG in detail, we can see lead AVR. There is ST elevation in lead AVR. When angiogram of this patient was done, which revealed the occluded left main coronary artery with subtotal occlusion of left anterior descending coronary artery after anastomosis of left internal mammary artery, and austere stenosis of saphenous graft to the obtuse marginal artery and diffuse moderate disease of right coronary artery.
Right bundle branch okay.
This pattern resembles right bundle branch. It's not W pattern or M pattern, RSR pattern is not this, but appears as right bundle branch. It's not right bundle branch. This was taken from an article only, sir.
But right bundle branch.
Yes, it's not right. Other uses of lead AVR apart from acute coronary.
So what level of ST elevation is significant in AVR?
Sir, more than 0.5 to 1 mm. In any limb lead, it is 1 mm, and in chest lead, it is 2 mm. Sir.
So the first case that you have shown of MI, that was of your case or it was taken from somewhere?
No, sir. Everything is from that article only, sir.
This article.
Yes.
That was very tricky.
Yes, sir. Very tricky, sir. That's what. But
first one, this is still showing some ST depression. આમાં તો એટલું બધું ખાલી 3 AVF વાળા ST depression ને તો ઘણી બધી વાર તમે જવા દેતો હવે.
Yes.
This is very tricky. Any further detail that what hours of chest pain this ECG was taken or after that what happened? Anything you have in that article?
It's nothing, sir. Only they are show clinical history and what angiographic outcome of this patient.
And that too of a 44, right?
Yes, sir.
And what he had in angio?
Proximal
LAD completely occluded.
Yes.
भगवान भलो करे.
Because they are saying lead area में कोई भी changes होते हैं तो एकदम aggressively चले जाते हैं.
तो ये थोड़ा और ज़्यादा sensitivity के लिए डाल दिया है.
Yes.
Otherwise ये तो मिस हो जाता है इसे.
Yes. Coming to the stress testing, it has been shown that exercise reduced ST depression in V5 and concomitant ST elevation in lead AVR may detect significant left anterior descending coronary artery stenosis in patients with single vessel disease. ST segment elevation in lead AVR was useful in predicting LMCA disease, which has sensitivity as high as around 93%, specific 48%. And ST segment elevation in lead AVR during exercise testing was found to be more strongly correlated with positive tests such as other positive tests such as nuclear imaging and coronary angiography. Here I am mentioning an article from British Medical Journal. Here is 49-year-old man who presented with angina and chest pain without any prior history of diabetes, hypertension and smoking. TMT was performed 4 months ago and was reported negative by an experienced physician, so they labeled this chest pain as non-angina chest pain. But looking in, there was a ST elevation of 1.5 millimeter in lead AVR at the peak exercise of 10.21 minutes, and it persisted into recovery, and there was no ST depression in any other leg. Basically, what we see in the stress test is a ST depression in anterior leads, which was horizontal or downsloping ST elevation. But in this, there was only one lead changes, that is AVR changes. Rest all leads are normal. This patient was subjected to angiography since its symptoms were persisted. The angiogram reveals the presence of complete occlusion of osteoproximal LED which feed retrogradely via RCA until its proximal. Here we can see the occluded LED, and in second image we can see here retrograde filling of LED, so that presence of good collateral can explain the good effort tolerance of this patient, so that patient can go up to 10.21 minutes. The patient was percutaneously revascularized subsequently, and repeat TMT performed after 2 months of procedure revealed that ECG changes had disappeared. So he has exhaustion symptoms also disappeared. This retrospectively proved beyond doubt that pain was associated with ischemia.
So at that peak exercise, you did not have any symptoms?
No symptoms.
The experience physician negatively to
Yes,
so you was in
no symptoms, sir.
Nothing was there.
Yes, only this changes is missed by him, sir, because all other leads were normal, sir.
See, osteoproximal LED occlude હોય આખી અને તમે 10.21 મેચ કરી જાઓ અને તમને સિમ્પટમ્સ ના આવે તમે ડાયજેસ્ટ
negative bilkul.
Yes, that's why here the presence of good collaterals are very good, sir.
and specifically now they have also mentioned that he was having exertional symptoms.
Yes, sir.
Would you correlate all this?
If patient has exertional symptoms, then patient
Will
has
it
symptom
go to-
at 8 to 10 minutes, sir.
It will go to 10.21 minutes. Is it possible?
No, sir. Patient must have
કયો
symptoms.
આર્ટિકલ છે BMJ નો
BMG articles.
એટલે જ એને
Basic
ખરાબ
coding
કહેવાય.
BMG articles.
એટલે જ એને ખરાબ કે BMJ.
Sir.
It's not possible.
How I am lacking technically best.
But might be symptom is by which mild angina symptom can be there, sir. But seeing the angiogram, sir, there was very good feeling of LED, sir, up to its proximal
Then
section.
it was needed to open.
Sorry,
Why
sir.
it was needed to open then?
Because
All
mild is
were very good.
Yes, sir, mild is
On highest exercise, patient was not
Patient
having
had no
symptoms.
symptom.
Then why it was opened?
yes. Mild.
Sir,
Something was missed. Either patient has symptoms.
And then
and has
angina,
symptoms.
what was the cardiac enzyme at that time and echo at that time?
That was
Direct angio and you opened also as well. આર્ટિકલ ની થોડી કન્ટિન્યુટી તો જોઈએ ને બધી જે આપણે રૂટીન પ્રેક્ટિસમાં કરીએ છીએ.
Yes.
We need everything. So
Yes.
આવું તમે પ્રેઝન્ટ કરો તો try to find out all the case reports complete.
Yes.
Right? Because this is not at all acceptable.
Yes.
અને બધા સિમ્પટમ્સ હતા યાદ કર્યા પછી એ કોક ન હોય ને એક્ઝર્શનલ સિમ્પટમ્સ આવી છે ક્યાં બનાવી દીધેલો લાગે છે.
You have that article with you.
Yes.
Please send it.
Yes. I show you. This was this was a ECG of 68 years old woman. 2 days after coronary artery bypass surgery with small pericardial effusion seen on echocardiogram. Note there is a diffuse ST segment elevation except ST depression in lead AVR. There is a evidence of PR depression in lead 1, 2 and AVR. Here is PR depression with PR elevation in lead AVR, which also known as a knuckle sign, which is specific of acute pericarditis. ECG frequently the patient in pericarditis there is a diffuse ST segment elevation and PR segment depression in most of the leads with reciprocal ST segment depression and PR segment elevation, that is called knuckle sign in lead AVR characteristic and help in supporting diagnosis of acute pericarditis.
So what is the sensitivity and specificity for this finding?
Diffuse ST elevation with ST depression.
AVR changes का sensitivity और specificity criteria कितना है? कितने परसेंट में होगा, कितने परसेंट में नहीं होगा?
Acute pericarditis का coronary artery disease का था, सर इसका
इसका नहीं होगा. होगा देखना.
yes sir.
कहीं ना कहीं सीरीज में कहीं तो होगा.
This is ECG of 54 years old woman presenting with sudden onset of breathlessness. Here we can see the S1 T3 pattern. Additional finding include the atrial fibrillation with right axis deviation with incomplete right bundle French block and there is ST elevation in lead AVR and lead V1. So in acute pulmonary embolism, right heart hemodynamics gives rise to variety of ECG changes finding, including classing S1QT T3 pattern. And coming to the lead AVR, ST segment elevation in lead AVR is believed due to the acute right ventricular overload and transient hypoxia from impaired coronary artery blood flow or increased myocardial oxygen demands. In arrhythmias, the morphology of P wave in lead AVR can be useful to differentiate the atrial tachyarrhythmias. A positive P wave in AVR during tachycardia favors the AVNRT type of tachycardia. Here are two ECGs of the patient. First during the episode of AVNRT and second during normal sinus rhythm. Here we can see that positive P wave in lead AVR after the QRS complex, which shows this tachycardia was AVNRT type, and after returning to normal sinus rhythm, there is inverted P wave in lead AVR. This is electrocardiogram showing atrial tachycardia with 2:1 conduction. Here we can see the negative P waves in lead AVR. These are negative P waves in lead AVR. So that negative P waves suggest the focal atrial tachycardias. And second, and Hope et al. Also found that ST segment elevation lead AVR during the narrow QRS complex tachycardia suggests that AVNRT through accessory pathway as a mechanism of this tachycardia. In Brugada syndrome, the morphology of R wave in lead AVR has been used to risk stratify patients in this syndrome. In patients with Brugada syndrome, the prominent R wave in lead AVR, also known as AVR sign, predicts the greater risk of arrhythmic events. This is the ECG of 56-year-old man with multiple syncopal episodes who was found on electrophysiological testing to have inducible ventricular fibrillation. Note that is Brugada pattern in lead V1 and V2, and there is AVR sign, a prominent R wave in lead AVR. This is associated with higher risk of arrhythmic events in Brugada syndrome. In tricyclic antidepressant poisoning, the QRS duration remains the main parameter to assess the extent of poisoning. But Lebed et al. Study the 79 patient with TCA overdose showed that amplitude of terminal R wave, that is 3 mm or greater in lead AVR, and ratio of R to S wave in lead AVR are better predictor of seizures and arrhythmias of this patient than QRS interval. Here we can see the ECG of 39 years old woman with TCA overdose. Note here is a sinus tachycardia with QRS widening with QT prolongation, and there is a terminal R wave more than 3 mm in lead AVRs. And final use of lead AVR means dextrocardia lead reversal. With dextrocardia, heart is situated at the right side of chest due to primary reversal of primitive cardiac rhythm. Here QRS complex and T waves are directed inferiorly and to the right side of the heart. So ECG appears as the like arm reverse. In both dextrocardia and lead reversal, due to correct lead placement, PQRS complex are upright in lead areas. So how to differentiate lead reversal and dextrocardia? Here we can see that RA and LA and RA reversal. In this, lead 1 become inverted, and lead 2 and lead 3 switches their place, and lead AVR and AVR switch this place, and lead AVF remains unchanged. This is the ECG with lead AVR, LA, RA, lead reversal. Here we can see that lead AVR and AVR are reversed. Actually, this is lead AVR and this is AVR, and this is the same normal ECG of the same patient. Here this second ECG which mimics as the LA, RA reversal. Here we can see positive QRS complex in lead AVR and negative in AVR. This can also be case of lead LA, RA reversal or dextrocardia. So how to differentiate between dextrocardia? We have to see as a precordial leads. When full ECG was analyzed, there is a right axis deviation, positive QRS complexes, that is upright P wave and T wave in lead AVR. In lead 1 there is inversion of all complexes, and there is Fourth point is main. There is upside R wave progression in the chest leads to dominant S wave throat. So, LARA reversal may stimulate dextrocardia. However, in contrast to dextrocardia, there is a normal R wave progression in the precordial leads. There is a second case of RA and AVF reversal where lead AVR and AVF switches their place and patient presented positive lead AVR. And in this case, same we can with precordial lead RA progression we can differentiate. Other conditions like tension pneumothorax, there is PR segment elevation in inferior ECG leads and PR segment depression in lead AVR has been reported in left side pneumothorax. Is due to the displacement of heart and rotation of heart in acute right ventricular dilation and air in thoracic cavities. In Takotsubo syndrome, which is stress-induced cardiomyopathy, also known as apical Lowry syndrome, has been reported. There is ST segment elevation in AVR along with ST segment elevation in 1, 2, 3 AVF and V2 to V6. This is a condition with all lead elevation. Reversible diffuse impairment of coronary microcirculation leading to transient global myocardial ischemia, possibly due to catecholamine surge, is generally accepted as a mechanism producing the acute myocardial infarction features. There is one thing special review from this article. There is a study done by Pelham et al. To adapt the or there are two types of limb display suggested. There is a classical limb display which we use like 1, 2, 3 AVR AVF and AVL AVF. He studied the orderly limb display in his report and he demonstrated that such display result in greater diagnostic accuracy less time. So he advised the orderly limb display, that is first is AVL 1 AVR 2 3 AVF according to the orientation of the axis of that, but it's not used here. We use only classical. Coming to the conclusion, sir. Lead AVR has multiple clinical applications and is useful tool for interpreting ECGs. However, it is often overlooked by even experienced ECG readers. Careful attention to this lead during evaluation of ECG can aid diagnosis of acute LMCA, proximal LED, occlusion, affecting the time and type of therapy and predicting the prognosis of the patient in acute myocardial infarction. Noting the changes in lead AVR can aid the diagnosis in clinical other scenarios including pulmonary embolism, TCA overdose, dextrocardia, lead reversal. So that lead AVR is the forgotten leads can be used as useful to lead diagnosis and prognosis of many clinical symptoms.
Is it overlooked or underlooked?
And the loops.
We are not looking at all, it's underlooked.
Yes.